This is one of the pepperberry trees, the smaller ones on the property. This one here has lovely new foliage on it because it not long ago actually had pepperberries on it, not even 2 months ago when I first bought the block and moved on. From what I've learnt so far, you can see the new growth coming out, but the new growth is where also your new flowers and this year's coming pepperberries come from. And you can see the nice red stems and that. This is only a very young plant. You can see how much new foliage is coming on. Now, the pepperberries themselves are little black berries that obviously look like a pepper that you'd see in at the shops in the little containers. But the leaves in these are also supposed to be edible and have a bit of a twang of pepper and as it goes along as well. Very firm leaf. Very nice smell to it. Very, very nice smell. But sorry, not quite used to this sort of flavour. Again, it's actually starting to get a little bit of a burn to it from a nice fresh green leaf. I'm not a great fan of pepper, but everyone that's down here said, oh, they're lovely, you should have some, but, oh geez, that's burning the tongue a bit. These here, the pepperberries themselves, the actual fruit themselves, are supposed to have 3 times the amount of antioxidants as blueberries, which blueberries is classed as a superfood. If you took it on that aspect, I guess you could probably say a pepperberry is also a superfood, but being that it's nice and hot the way it is, I think you'd have to be very mindful on the sheer amount that you would use. I'm quite sure they'd be quite helpful for you, but you can also use them in various different teas, and I've been told you can dry them out. Again, I haven't got a great deal of knowledge on this as yet, and my knowledge will grow as time moves along with everything that we're going to be doing, because we will be harvesting pepperberries and also drying them off. And we'll see what it does if we put some up for sale and all that as well as time moves along. And we'll also go into propagating and putting some new pepperberry trees back in, because on some of the places here, we've got a lot of old pepperberries, but we also had a lot of pepperberries that were already fallen over. So we're going to replace some of them and go for it from there. Down at one of the other corners of the block, and you can actually see the river that goes through Waratah. That one there is actually where we get the main supply for water for town. And there's also lots of trout in there. There's rainbow trout and also brown trout. We also have plenty of platypuses there as well. And we also have here and on the other side of the block, we also get the giant freshwater lobsters or crayfish. I guess, yeah, crayfish is, yeah, freshwater crayfish, not lobsters. As it goes through, it's illegal to catch them, although we have seen people pull them in on fishing rods, and it's quite good. But here's a lovely native weed. This is called gauze. Settle down, Jasmine. This is called gauze, and it's got lovely big spikes on it, and it's absolutely shocking to walk into, especially if you're wandering around at night time. Shimba, get out of it. It's not good for the dogs. We've been knocking most of it down, but this is a bit thick for the old whippersnipper to get into, so I'll be bringing the brush cutter head down and giving this a bit of a touch up and putting it out to where the flail mower can hit it. We've also got the gauze, the broom, sorry, that's gauze, apologies. This stuff here they used to use way back in the day as a broom. So this stuff used to actually be made and cut off, and they used to use it to sweep floors of the huts and stuff like that as well. It's also obnoxious weed, and it's just everywhere. And again, my whippersnipper won't cut this, and I'm only a foot or so off of the fence. As time moves along, I will be coming back and just trimming this straight off and chucking it out, where the flail mower will turn it into nothingness, and we'll keep the paddock clean and clear of all this sort of garbage from here on out. But there's also plenty of native ferns that grow around the place as well, which aren't too hard to cut up. You can see a bit of a frond here, and just next door on the fence line there you can see where there's some ferns next door as well. A little while ago I bought myself a brand new Trident 554. It's a 55 horsepower tractor with about 600 plus kilos and in the vicinity of 600 kilo lifting capacity. It also has the ability with hydraulic downward application on the actual attachments and whatnot. I bought a whole swagger of different bits and pieces, a number of different attachments, backhoe attachments. I've got discs, flail mower, box grader, rippers, and yeah, the list goes on, wood splitter and all, because I'm all the way down in Tasmania. And all I can say is that since I've owned the machine, been very, very, very happy with the machine. There was a small little issue in the beginning, but with the service that they provide with the tractor and all that sort of stuff at Nicholas Machinery, the owners and all actually came through and did some work on it and fixed what the small issue was. And again, happy with the service all the way through. Hopefully in the near future we'll be getting disc mower, mini baler, and also the rake as well. But we're also going to be looking at getting potato harvester as well, as long as the supply chain keeps bringing stuff in from overseas, and also looking at getting a plastic layer because we're putting in a garden that'll cover about 2.5 acres down the paddock there, just to supply us here on the property. We've noticed on the tractor the seat is absolutely fantastic. This seat is. We've got no dramas or hassle, very adjustable. Mickey Mouse seat. You can see the little toolboxes. I've added those myself, so they are what they are, so please don't cruel me too much for that. It is what it is. Apart from that, I have had no hassles or dramas with the machine. Okay everyone, I've got a whole heap of belladonna lilies here. They're white/pinkish coloured ones, and we've had a fair bit of rain, snow and ice lately, and they're, as you can see, sitting out on the ground. Need to get them into the actual ground so we don't have them freeze completely on us. And you'll notice that some of the leaves have gotten a little bit on the soft side because, again, where they're sitting, it's not exactly what you'd call ideal. So we're going to take them from there and up to a little bit of a rise further out the back there that you can see off in the distance as a temporary garden, and we're going to put them into the bucket and take them all up there. But just across the ways, you'll see where the mound is that we're going to put them, because again, there's no gardens. That's where they're going to go temporarily, just to make sure they're in the ground. On the other side here, where the road's gone in, there's a bit of dirt and stuff on the other side. I'm going to scoop some of that up again. It's not potting mix, it's not garden mix, it's not anything. It's just extra fill to put across there and plant these lilies in so we can pick them up and move them at a later date. But anyway, enough talking about it. Let's go and have a bit of action.
We've just put in all the mud. We can't call it dirt because it's mud at the moment. It's so wet. It's going to make it very difficult when stuff in these need to go in before the ice starts again, or the snow, because we're having problems with those coming on and off, and then the sheer volume of rain that we're having at this time of the year, which is normal. Mind you, this is a first for me in this end of the world, because I'm all the way up, generally in Queensland, in Townsville, where it's 35-degree day. At the moment, I think we're pushing about 7 degrees here, which is nice. I mean, yeah, I've got a jacket, some tracky dacks on and stuff like that, but it's pretty comfortable. But getting back to the job at hand, the belladonna lilies, like a lot of lilies, when you plant them, you would generally plant them to about that height up. With belladonna lilies, they actually like to stand up and out of the soil as it goes along. Okay, so instead of planting them all the way down, they like to have some of their top exposed. It's just the type of lily that they are. And you will see as time goes along, these will actually stand up and push themselves out of the dirt. That's just what they do. A lot of different varieties of hippeastrums and stuff like that, unless they've been left and unattended for great durations of time, generally don't push themselves up out of the ground much. But as it goes along, basically just plant him on in, push the dirt around him, or should I say mud at this particular point in time. But that's basically all you do with them. Now again, we're not putting any fertiliser or anything in here. It'd be lovely to have hit this with a rotary hoe. And that would have been fantastic. It would have made all this organic matter and had all these lumps and clumps of soil / root balls and that mixed up. The other thing we've got here is another variety of lily. They look exactly the same family, you might as well say, without too many problems and hassles. They both also look like a big onion. Now, this particular variety of lily, when it flowers, it actually looks like an orchid. Although it's not an orchid at all. It's a lovely red-looking flower. It looks very nice and very similar to an orchid. But this one actually likes to be planted to there. It likes to be submerged somewhat. Unlike this one where the top is still showing on here, which will have to be moved around. But again, all we're doing basically is where the top shows on that one. With this one, we'll actually bury him down so the bulb is actually not showing whatsoever, unlike the belladonna lilies. Okay, well, I better get into it. I'll let the cameraman get into doing some of it as well, because it's not just a me project. But you may not often see the person behind the camera. As you can see, all planted. Oh, good on you. Get out of there, you. Good deal. As you can see, they're all planted. Marvellous with all this photography and vice versa. So, as it goes along and through, how many bulbs do we end up with? 500 bulbs for $20. So, as it goes through, there are two types in here. Again, this looks slap happy, and well, it is. But they're only going to be here a brief period of time. As you can see across the whole block, there's lots and lots of stuff that's still yet to be done, but because of the unusual weather we've been getting at the moment, there is very, very little we can do about it. So, as it goes through, we'll have to thank the cameraman because she was the one that did it, not me. Yeah, there you go, thumbs up behind.
Okay everyone, as you can see, driveways in, gates are in, new poles are in, and there's a lot more gravel in. Now this hasn't taken just a few seconds, obviously in the video. It looks like a few seconds, but it's been weeks and weeks and weeks in between rain and availability of trucks and whatnot. But you can see here that quite a lot of gravel's gone down the driveway when and where we're able to get it, and working in between all the rain, which you can see all the way up the driveway. Now later on, I'll actually put some offshoots to take away the speed of all that water. But at the moment, as you can see, a lot's gone in, and that's where we are at the moment. And again, show you some more as it progresses.